they did what very few people in the internet can do, which is not post. Why, hello there. Welcome to day 727 since Elden Ring was first announced at E3 2019 on June 9th, 2019. We are now coming up on June 10th, 2021, where we hope Elden Ring will be shown in 5 short days at SGF. And this is the second part of my sort of Summer Games Fest kickoff question and answer about Elden Ring, Souls stuff, hype, Elden Wait special. And we're going to be doing this every day until SGF. So it is not too late to send in questions, but I do have a metric shitload of questions, and I want to keep answering them because people are asking a lot of cool, fun things, and I would love to hear your opinions on all of these questions as well. Today, I will be responding to questions I received on YouTube on a post I put up announcing the Q&A a few days ago when I thought I would maybe get a few. And I think in this one alone, there's like 20, so let's see how many we can get to now. And if your question is not answered, I just probably will not get to all of them, but I'm going to see how much I can do. So let's get into it. Also, it's Saturday, so the cardigan is taking the day off. I'm just rocking a t-shirt, so casual Elden Wait. So the first question is from Lion TO, and they ask, will you be live streaming the whole SGF event, or are you going to make a post-show reaction video? I am planning to live stream SGF, with the caveat that as soon as Elden Ring, which we're pretty certain it will be there. Hold this question for a second. I forgot to mention something very important. Today, I woke up to a tweet from Jeff Keighley where he posted this like gif of a panda saying that he wants to break free. And there is almost no way that this is not a reference to 9Volt's Twitter post on December 10th, 2020, after the Game Awards, where Jeff is in like this stage he has set up that kind of looks like he's in this like box cube thing. And 9Volt posted that Jeff Keighley is in gamer prison after giving Elden Ring most anticipated but not showing any gameplay. So this is from Jeff, is like gets me very interested to see the hype trailer that he's probably going to put up tomorrow, I'm assuming at this point. But that seems to be a pretty direct tease from Jeff Keighley, the host of SGF, that Elden Ring will be there. So that's very exciting. But so let's get into this. So I will be live streaming the SGF event, and I'll probably upload a reaction of when it actually happens afterwards, just if someone doesn't want to watch the whole live stream. I will say the caveat that as soon as Elden Ring is shown, I'm out. Like, it's time to look at the trailer again, and we will do that live. And I have a few logistical things to work out, but I plan on live streaming it. I imagine it'll be saved until the end anyways, but I am fine watching everything afterward. But Elden Ring, I need to see that, and I want to hang out with all you and have great chat and just get super excited because we've been waiting 2 years, guys. So yes, I will be live streaming, and there will be videos up after, and the content from the Lore Hunter will not be stopping. I guarantee it. So there you have it. So Slimpo asks, do you think NPC quest lines in Elden Ring will be just as easy to miss as in previous From titles? And, just the fact that it's an open world, it might be harder to find them. And, there's already some sort of convoluted quest lines in Souls, and increasing the scale of the world might make it even harder to track down NPCs. I'm not sure. I think From may do a better job just flagging stuff, and maybe hopefully making it less random, make it so if you're paying attention, like, you can sort of know where to go next. But I would be very surprised if From put in any sort of quest or log system. I don't see that being the case. I just don't think that's how From does things. I do think there will be just as many, probably more NPCs in Elden Ring than in the Souls games. So I'll look forward to that. But I think that just with the open world, that's probably a consideration, is that you can go so many places that I'm just hoping, based off of the flagging and where they think it makes sense to put the NPCs for their quest lines, that they make it a little easier. But I don't think they'll go so far as to literally like write it down for you anywhere. They might, but I would be surprised. That's not really how From operates, and that's been the case since Kingsfield. They're just sort of, there's like diary entries in Kingsfield, but even then, it's not really helping you with NPC quest lines. It's just not really how they make those work. So Keem Vlogs asks, why do you think we've gotten little to no news on Elden Ring in the past 700 days? In this case, 727 days. And the reason, so, E3 2019 announced 2 interviews. We know that TGA 2019, Elden Ring was supposed to make an appearance. However, they pulled out a few weeks before. And because the scope and there was probably an internal delay as they were realizing whatever their original release date, maybe like summer 2020 or something, is rumored, that they realized they weren't going to hit that and they were already having to rethink their timeline. And then not knowing a date from is, they just don't, they're reworking things, and so they're regrouping because they're just not ready yet. And then COVID hits and probably puts everything into a tailspin. And I think they made the somewhat wise decision, even though I myself have gotten frustrated at just the lack of communication. However, I do think there is something to be said for them just waiting instead of like feeling pressured to post when they're not sure. That they did what very few people in the internet can do, which is not post. And they have been waiting until they're really ready to hit it hard, from what I've heard. And so I think that they're now ready to really get things moving. And that's partially what's exciting about this, is from everything I've heard, once they kick off Elden Ring with this trailer, hopefully at SGF, that the ball's going to be rolling, and it's not going to stop until release. So there you go. I think it was just a decision to not talk until they were more certain about the time frame and what to present. And, obviously in the marketing timeline, you want to keep hype up. You want to pace things out the right way. So I think that was all considered, but they're very aware of the situation, and it was a conscious choice. I think once they realized with COVID that things were just chaotic. So that's what I think, at least. Somewhat speculation on my part, but that's as best as I can get after thinking about it. Painful Discourse asks, how do you think Elden Ring will try to distance itself from Dark Souls, aside from the open world aspect, and how much homage and reuse am I expecting? Well, From Software is very self-referential. They, as a studio, they almost have their own like symbolic library and mythology, like moons and trees and the sun. You can listen to my episode with Theomony where she talks about this, and we discuss From Software and how, as a studio, they're very, very self-referential, because they go through similar themes and they use similar symbols to represent things. And as fans, you can almost pull meaning just off of what sort of symbols you see them using, like lightning, or, like, as I mentioned, trees and the moon and the sun. These are all present in so many of their games, and they sort of mean consistent things. So in that sense, I do think you will see, especially because the IP is still, through Bandai Namco, there's no reason why they can't sort of make references to Dark Souls, and they tend to be pretty self-referential for all their games. So I think there will be some of that still. But also, I know that Elden Ring wants to not be Dark Souls, in the sense that they want it to be its own unique IP. They have different motivations and goals. There's like reasons why this isn't Dark Souls 4. And I think in that sense, they have been making efforts on an aesthetic level, mechanical level, and then with the themes they're exploring to be different from Dark Souls, because that's not what they want to do. They don't want to just make another Dark Souls. They have different aspirations, and they're trying to distance it while also continuing from tradition of having a fantasy, action role playing game. Like there's been Kingsfield, then you go in the Demon Souls, then you have the Dark Souls series with Bloodborne branching off of that, and then Elden Ring is the next step in that tradition. So in that sense, like they're not truly trying to they would have just done a different genre, but it's not just Dark Souls there. They're part of a lineage, but they're also trying to make a unique, interesting entry, and they have new and interesting things they're trying to do with the game. Cowboy B-Boy asks, how different do you think magic will be in Elden Ring? Will it be more fluid and in-depth for the sake of combat? Will there be a meta for magic that isn't a Great Soul Arrow? And we've heard from Omni that they're trying to make magic is sort of different in its role and function in the world. It's more present in Elden Ring than in Dark Souls as just part of the world that is the game exists in. And also he mentioned that magic is tied to sort of different philosophies and different there's schools of magic that sort of are tied to different groups that have political or philosophical affiliations. So it seems like there's been some thought put into it, assuming that all pans out, and I think that will lead to more interesting magic. All right, James Russell says, can you even imagine it? No, I can't. As much as I've thought about Elden Ring the last 2 years, the idea of seeing a 1080p 4K gameplay trailer that isn't blurry as hell and that features the real Elden Ring is blowing my mind still. And I don't know if I will come to terms with it even after watching it. I think it'll take quite a few times before it sinks in, just because we've been waiting so long. So I doubt I can even imagine it. Dob TF2 asks, if it turns out that we can name our Yakul in Elden Ring, what name would you give yours? When I thought it was going to be a horse, I was going with Ludwig because I love the Ludwig boss fight in Bloodborne, and Ludwig is a horse. But now that it is this red elk, I think the closest I'm going to get is maybe I'd go with Capra, just because, I don't know, for some reason I'm interested in naming it some Souls boss name. So I think that's about as close as you get to fighting an elk. Maybe Vicar Amelia. Maybe Amelia. Fingers Crossed asks, are there things you don't want to see in Elden Ring? Maybe some stuff that was in previous From titles that you didn't like. Let's see. Do you think teleporting dogs will return? And do you predict multiple endings? A question trifecta from Fingers Crossed. Are there things I don't want to see in Elden Ring? I'm thinking, I've had some discussions of just how I hope maybe the weapon upgrade system gets some sort of overhaul or just difference. It's never been bad, but I would like perhaps a little more flexibility to be able to sort of switch up my weapon, because in Souls you really have to you only can really fully upgrade just a couple weapons, and it's tough to sort of, once you sort of lock in on one, it's sort of tedious to build something else up. It would be nice to have a way to maybe a different upgrade system that offers a little more flexibility would be something that I would like to see. Going back to a previous question, I would, hope that maybe some of the NPC quest lines are just a little better flagged, and that the progressing through them is just requiring thinking about the NPC and sort of listening to them and having that give you the information to know where to go, and less reliant on somewhat random feeling flags. So I think that's my answer there. Do you think teleporting dogs will return? I don't know. Maybe just with people pursuing you, but that got made fun of a lot and was probably not the best way. They're probably thinking a lot about the speed of enemies and how things will deal with you on horse or on elk. So I think that will be more thought through than having teleporting dogs. And do I predict multiple endings? Yes, I think there will be multiple endings. I think maybe Omni has talked about that, but I think that has been unofficially confirmed that there will be multiple endings for Elden Ring. And there you have it. I did not even get through all the questions from the post on YouTube, but I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna do this, all the way up to SGF. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your own answers to the questions that I tackled today, and feel free to add questions. I don't know if I'll get to them, but I will definitely take a look and do what I can. I'm having a blast answering these questions, and I know we're all hyped, and I'm happy to keep answering questions and just thinking about Elden Ring, because I would be doing it anyways, because we are very close to seemingly getting a new gameplay trailer and really kicking off Elden Ring's marketing, and that is very exciting. So those are all the questions for today, but feel free to leave a comment, and I will see you tomorrow for the next Elden Wait.